So draft day was a funny day. Had a good senior season, played well, won a state championship, which was something I was striving to do from my freshman year. I wanted to get a yellow hat and get a ring. That was the thing. And about a week and a half later, it's draft day. So I'd been hearing things, been filling out a bunch of questionnaires, been filling out a lot of paperwork, phone calls, interviews with certain area scouts, scouting directors, and things like that there was a chance I could go high. Draft day came. It was an anxious day, but like an exciting day as well. I couldn't eat, could barely even sit down. I just wanted to take a moment to myself and take in everything that was about to happen. I'd heard a couple of phone calls earlier about, you could go here, you could go to this team, and pick after pick, it would come up. Wasn't me. It was my buddies getting taken, buddies left and right. I mean, the top 3 round guys, like a lot of them were guys I played with and played against. Time ticks off the clock. So-and-so's pick is in, this pick is in. We're drafting XYZ from this high school, XYZ from this college. And you're just like, man, I want that phone call. Time goes by. I receive a phone call and I'm like, oh man. Everyone's looking at me. My phone was on loud so I didn't miss it. And I leave the room. The minute I walked out of the room, you can hear the whispers, you can hear the chatter. And I'm freaking out on the phone. I don't even know what I said at first, but I was freaking out inside.
On Jones.
Got a call. They were like, hey, if the A's don't take you with 69, the Angels are going to take you at 70. And he's like, how do you feel? And I was like, I feel great. I was like, you don't even understand like how much that phone call meant to me. I walked back in trying to hold back my excitement. I told one guy, and he ended up telling everybody through a text message on our team, and kind of spread. And by the time that pick came around, everybody's phones were out. They were all ready to ultimately see my name go off the board, and it gets announced with the 70th pick of the second round. The LA Angels of Anaheim select Jahmai Jones, outfield second baseman from Roswell, Georgia. And like, I'm getting goosebumps now, like thinking about it. It's an amazing opportunity with amazing organization. And once I heard my name go off the board, it was like, I felt like I was 100 pounds lighter. I felt like the weight had been lifted off my shoulders. After we won a state championship, there's a picture on my lock screen that I have of me hugging my mom on the foul line. She came running out of the stands onto the field. She probably shouldn't have, but she knew how much this meant to me and saw how many times I failed in high school from a playoff standpoint, the emotions and the things that I went through. It was one of the most heartfelt moments I've had with my mom. And then on draft day, it was even better. I didn't think I'd top that until later in life, and to think a week and a half later, it was a different kind of hug. It was a hug of knowing that the work she had put in and the sacrifices that she made for me to be where I needed to be were paying off. And the same sacrifices that I had and the things that I wanted to do for my mom also were paying off. 3 days later, I was out in Arizona flying out. So that hug was one of the most important hugs I've had with my mom. People still didn't understand it once I got drafted. People still were unsure of the decision to not go to college. They didn't understand what it meant for me to be given a life-changing opportunity. You look up and it's not like you're trying to say out loud like, oh, I was right, and like walking around with my head up high and all that, but it was just the quiet confidence of knowing that I knew what was the right decision. I knew what was best for me and my family. There were going to be people who didn't like what I did, and there were going to be people who were going to try and steer me off the path that was opened up for me. So knowing that, I had to be confident in myself, be confident in my decisions, and the decision was baseball.
So far, Whitley's had just about everything working tonight. The heater, he's hit the radar gun as high as 98 so far. Morgan digs back in, and the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with a curveball.
Like in 17 and 18, there was like no pressure. But for whatever reason, like once I got into camp this year, there was like a load of pressure just because there was like 2 years worth of expectations on me. I'd had a lot of success at multiple like higher levels. And then last year in the fall league, I was put on like a really high pedestal like at the very beginning. And I like in the back of my head, I was like, God, do I really like deserve that? Like all this like media attention that I was getting. And like I had like a super awesome spring training. I felt like I was just going to go to AAA, pretty much, you know, get 4 or 5 starts in, shove, and then go to the big leagues. And it like literally couldn't have been the more opposite. Like go to AAA, have like had like a 12.5 and 8 starts, and it wasn't a pretty sight. Then I got hurt.
Forrest looked down right after that delivery, and now he's holding his back.
He's holding his left side towards the hip area.
I think I just got too full of myself because when after my first AAA outing was really solid, and then I just remember like in my head I was just like, oh my God, this is just too easy. Like every level's just been gravy. Like this is just too easy. And then like that, things changed. I had a clean inning my second outing, like my first inning, and then I gave up like 7 runs in the second, and then it just went all downhill from there.
His command is he's struggled with it, made a lot of pitches, and at that rate, if he doesn't turn things around, probably he'll have a very short afternoon.
As Whitley comes set, checks the runner at second, he deals, drive the right field, that one is deep, going back Ferguson, way back, going, and we got a tie game.
I think it was just a way of the game humbling me, like on purpose, because I was just getting full of myself. Like I said, like I thought the game was a lot easier than it actually is, and I didn't know how to handle it. Like I was like so lost out there on the mound. It was the first time I've ever felt like that. So going back to Florida and kind of regrouping and getting healthy again was like a big step forward. That was just a pretty tough thing to internalize, just all the stuff that I had been through this year. I had made my expectations so high that once I didn't meet those and I failed like massively, it was just like so deflating. I'd done everything that I needed to do to get to the point where I wanted to be, and it still like didn't turn out the way that I wanted to. In fact, it like literally stopped in its tracks. So I was like, shoot, like what do I need to do to like get back? And like the thing that like I always thought was like I need to do more, like I need to like really maximize like what I can be doing like at all times of the day. Well, like when in reality I needed to be doing like a lot less. Yes. Yeah, I just feel more in control. And like by no means have I figured it out, but like I'm a lot closer to figuring it out. And that's like a big step forward from like how the season had been going before that. I think it's just a combination of like knowing what I did when I was failing so miserably, and now that I've like had like a lot of success, I'm just like, okay, I know what I'm doing when I'm failing, but I also know what I'm doing even better when I'm succeeding. So it's just kind of like it's having more self-awareness out there on the mound. I can really pick up on things a lot quicker out there on the mound, like when things aren't going great, just because I've had that past experience and I've had to like kind of grind through those bad outings. And like now I have that like mental fortitude of like, okay, when things aren't going this way in this certain like predicament, like I know how to get out of it. And like vice versa on like the good side, like when I'm pitching well and I'm throwing the ball well, I know how to like make that continue and kind of sustain that throughout like the whole outing. I think it's just going out there with nothing to lose, and like that's how I took it last year, and it's the same thing this year. I mean, not to say I don't get anxiety like before outings, like every pitcher does, but I don't really know. Like I've had a lot of success here in Arizona. Like I wish I could like take the success I've had here into like a regular season, but like now I kind of like know like the attitude that I'm taking into outings, and I can do that, with the Astros.